All right, historic visuals coming in there of French President Emmanuel Macron receiving Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He's accompanied by the first French lady, Brigitte Macron, as you can see, in a firm handshake with the Indian Prime Minister. And remember, this is at the Louvre Museum, and the two are getting photographed. And they will, in fact, inside the museum also be getting photographed along with the most famous resident at the Louvre, and that is Mona Lisa. The three are walking the red carpet over to the museum, where the French president will also be hosting a ceremonial dinner at this iconic museum. Just a while ago, we saw the two heads of state in significant and crucial delegation level talks, but this is the iconic Louvre Museum, where Indian Prime Minister will be feted by the French President Emmanuel Macron, as he will also be hosted to a dinner at the Louvre. And remember, it has been a power-packed visit for the Indian Prime Minister, which has also not only celebrated the India-France strategic partnership, 25 years of that strategic partnership, but it has also given an impetus to various other, as far as other sectors are concerned, whether it is space or it is even trade ties. I'm also joined in by Brigitte, who's a security analyst and is joining me live right now on the newscast. Brigitte, of course, before we delve deeper into the strategic aspect of this visit of the Prime Minister, let's not forget that it is these cultural aspects that are also adding more power to Prime Minister's visit. Earlier in the day, it was the Bastille Day parade, where, of course, as we all know, the tri-service contingent of India was also participating. And today, he's being hosted to this banquet at the iconic museum. What do you make of the pomp and show that is accompanying Prime Minister's visit?
Good evening. Well, if you look at this visit, it has both the substance and the show part of it, and definitely when it comes to the cultural and the artistic aspect, these two countries share a long history of cultural exchanges. We must not forget that it was way back in the 1980s that Satyajit Ray was given the Legion of Honor by the French government. So there is enormous amount of interest in France about Indian culture. I have been to Paris more than a decade back, and I've seen the immense amount of interest they have so far as Indian classical, music is concerned. Sometimes I was at a loss of words when they asked me during a performance, about which raga that particular, rendition was all about. So if you look at, the way these two countries have moved forward, look, France is not just another country. It has its own culture, a civilization. And I think the kind of respect that it gets from India, and it's reciprocated otherwise as well, is because both these countries do not look at business alone. There is a deep cultural aspect, a civilizational aspect. There is the French civilization and history is filled with large number of thinkers. There is this friendship which goes beyond just a transaction aspect of it. We must not forget that during the 1998 nuclear test, when many countries of Europe actually put sanctions on us, it was France which stood as a friend and did not impose sanctions. They understood our concerns. So the 25 years of strategy...
There is no doubt that France has stood by us like a rock and a pillar of great strength, Brigitte. But when we talk about the kind of honor that has been bestowed upon the Indian Prime Minister by France, let's also talk about the Grand Cross of the Legion of Honor that Indian Prime Minister has been, bestowed upon. While this is just one of those innumerable honors that Prime Minister has received, this is certainly a first for an Indian Prime Minister coming from France.
Absolutely. And I think as the Prime Minister himself has mentioned, that this is the honor for 140 crore Indians. Right. That we must also not forget that it's an irony that today is the day we had the Chandrayaan 3, which went with the cryogenic engine. And we had a whole era of technology denial. So in the past, so from that time onwards to today, when the Prime Minister of India is being honored in this manner, I think, it's a great achievement, especially of the last few years, the manner in which India has evolved economically, the manner in which India has gone ahead and helped other countries
in fact, as
during
we
the time
speak,
of
there's
pandemic.
a photo op also that is happening. In fact, these are visuals that have come of the three posing over there. Let me take our viewers through these visuals. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, accompanied by the French President and the French First Lady Brigitte Macron at the Louvre Museum. The Prime Minister is expected to spend around an hour at least before he departs for UAE. But having said that, Patikrit, let's also talk about the fact that this has been one visit by the Prime Minister, which is only going to further strengthen the existing relationship between India and France. Many are drawing comparisons with the United States, Patikrit. Let's not forget that there is perhaps no comparison that should be arising, because India has had a steadfast relationship with France. As you were also pointing out, the way France has supported when it comes to India's nuclear activities, or even when as far as nuclear negotiations with the United States is concerned, France has always voiced support towards India.
Yes, absolutely. So, there are two aspects of it. First of all, it was mentioned by the Prime Minister yesterday also that when it comes to Indo-French relationship, culture, cuisine, film, art, aesthetics play a very critical role, and it's not just about business. I think India over the last few years have completely dehyphenated its relation with different countries. So while we have good relation with Russia, we have maintained good relation with United States also. So in that way, the Indo-French relationship is completely distinct from Indo-US relationship. Of course, there will be comparisons. There are certain areas of convergence. For example, much like the Indo-US collaboration through, on critical and emerging technologies. Similarly, when it comes to Indo-French relationship, there will be a lot of collaboration in areas of renewable energy, green hydrogen, semiconductors, artificial intelligence, cyber and digital, arena, as well as aerospace. For example, we are taking, the Rafale marine version this time, and we might be having in the near future a contract for the Safran engine for the 5th generation aircraft. Similarly, we had similar deals with United States for the FGF 414 engine for the Tejas Mark II, or the drones that we have agreed to acquire. But there are certain differences as well. In difficult times, France have been far more open to share its technology than perhaps even United States have been. For example, when it comes to issues like the Scorpion submarine, I don't know whether or if ever in the future, US would be too much interested to share its nuclear technology or submarines with us. France has been far too open. And let's understand, France has been a country which has never taken a stand against India in United Nations, ever in the last 25 years or even beyond that. So the respect they have for the internal aspect of India, and it has been reciprocated by India as well. I think
absolutely.
In that way,
in fact, it is one country that is playing a significant role in India's making